And we're going to turn around here and head to commercial real quick. When we come back, NBA trade deadline with official NBA buzz, Mikey Domagala. Don't miss it. Thomas Viola, Jason Halpern coming right back here, filling in for Ken Thompson on SportsX Radio. And here come the Suns. Kevin Durant, now a Phoenix Sun, and you know what that means. My Phoenix Suns 10-1 preseason futures ticket suddenly has life. Shout out to Ken, who was the one who told me to place it because he said, hey, I think the Suns are going to get Kevin Durant. I heard some rumblings. You should probably make this bet now before the line moves. And then they didn't get Kevin Durant. But it turns out just had to wait a little while longer. And here to break down that move and many others around a very active NBA trade deadline, Thomas Viola, Jason Halpern in the PSBR studios, joined right now by Mikey Domagala, official NBA buzz. Mikey, how are you doing this evening?
Tom, I appreciate you having me, and man, what an opener! And that's amazing that Ken had you do that. And if I'm you, I'd be thanking Kyrie Irving for those rumblings in Brooklyn, allowing KD, to get traded.
Man, Kyrie Irving, at least he's finally done something good for somebody. Because, oh man, that trade deadline, the news comes around, hey, Kyrie's going to be traded, and it's like the girl who you see, and she's and you're like, oh, hey, who's your friend? That's what happened with NBA teams. They all said, oh, Kyrie's available? Hey, does that mean that KD is available right now? Because we're more interested in him. And that's exactly what happened for Phoenix. What do you think of the trade package overall? Because quite frankly, the fact that they were able to keep DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, I think the Suns got away with a great one here. No matter what happens, they've suddenly taken what was looking like a disaster of a season for a team that was, even without KD, looking very promising to go and potentially win the NBA title. And now all of a sudden you're back on track here, and you really, I'll take giving up the future considerations I did. What do you think?
I mean, quite frankly, I feel like the Nets learned a lot from trading KG and Paul Pierce and that huge package where, they got rid of all of their picks. Now here they are getting another team's picks and kind of, strategically looking forward to the future. I'm going to talk about the Nets side first. I feel like the Nets got a pretty good haul. Like, Mikal Bridges is one of the most consistent workhorses in the NBA. Cam Johnson just needs an opportunity where he gets more than, 10 shots a game, and he'll be a 18 to 22-point scorer, and then all those picks. So I think the Nets really made out pretty decently. I'd give it maybe like a B+, so their future is bright and all that. And then Phoenix, of course, they're in win-now mode. They know Chris Paul is turning 38 soon. How many years does he have left? Even this year, he's kind of declined a little bit with his play, even though he's still a great facilitator. Devin Booker, of course, amazing. And Ayton's still around, like you said. And, you get Kevin Durant in the mix, and they're a championship contender right there. I just think they need to, hit up the waiver wire a little bit and see who they could bring in, to kind of strengthen that bench a little bit.
That's right, and there are going to be some guys on the buyout in the buyout market here in this second wave midseason free agent market. But this trade very much does feel to me it's like a good fantasy football trade. Everybody's benefiting here. Everybody got better somehow.
Yes, no, I agree with that. The Nets for their future, and then Kevin Durant going, to the Valley to try to win a championship again on another team, which is very controversial in itself. So it'll be exciting.
Indeed, it will be. And Spencer Dinwiddie, fan favorite for the Nets. Now he's back there. And D'Angelo Russell back with the Lakers. It's what, 2016 all over again?
Yes, sir. I mean, listen, I got to give credit to the Lakers and Rob Pelinka. That was one of the best trades of the deadline. I mean, they got D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt. Pretty much all of them are very underrated. I think D'Lo himself needed a new team to kind of be D'Lo again. Mm-hmm. And then Malik Beasley, one of the best sixth men off the bench, this season for Utah. Vanderbilt's still very young. He's averaging like 9 points, 8 rebounds. I mean, he's going to get more playing time with the Lakers. And even if he produces just those numbers, that's something they need off the bench. So credit to Rob Pelinka. And we can't forget about the Hachimura deal a couple of weeks back, a little away from the deadline. But, I got to give him credit.
how upset do you think the Lakers, except LeBron, are at not getting Kyrie, given how everything's shaken out at the end?
You know, I really don't think they're kicking themselves, because you know how sports works, how the NBA works. You need an actual team to win a championship. You put LeBron, AD, Kyrie together. All right, that's great, but what's coming off the bench? That's what I want to know. What's going to come off the bench to beat Denver's second unit, Boston's second unit, Memphis' second unit? It's starters could play terrific for 35 minutes a game, but those 13 minutes is really what's going to win you a playoff series and a championship. So that's what I have to say about that. I think the Lakers, they're not kicking themselves too hard, I think.
So with all these deals that were just made here prior to the deadline, who do you think the biggest winner was?
I would say the Phoenix Suns. The Suns this season were dealing with so many injuries. Chris Paul coming out the gate, not looking like himself. DeAndre Ayton infighting with head coach Monty Williams. It all wasn't looking good. Yeah, they kind of recovered themselves into like the top 7 in the West, but you had Kevin Durant, they're instantly title favorites, like Tom was saying. Their odds changed tremendously.
Down to 6-1.
Exactly, and they're in win now mode. This year or next year, I think I could confidently say that they'd win a title. If you look at how great Devin Booker has been this year, match him up with Kevin Durant, Chris Paul slinging the ball around, DeAndre Ayton in there, and you just strengthen that bench. I can see him winning a title.
So barring any injuries, you feel they are the favorite this year and next year?
See, that's tough. That's very tough, because initially I saw it as Denver versus Boston. Now you match up Denver with Phoenix. Man, that's a 7-game series that's going either way. To say they're the favorite, it's tough because I haven't seen them on the floor together, but they're definitely a top 3 to 4 team in the NBA right now on paper.
Yeah, the Nuggets fans are definitely most affected by all these deals. For the team that wasn't a part of any of them, it's a rough look for them after things started to look really sunny. Not saying that they're out of it by any means, but it's going to be a little bit tougher of a road now for sure.
Yeah, and if I could hop in there about Denver, that team is just so structured. They're just structured perfectly. Murray and Jokic together. Aaron Gordon plays that, third best man on the team role perfectly. And then their other role players they have just makes, their synergy great. I'm surprised they traded Bones Highland today for 2 second-round picks. That was stunning. He's one of the best, young bench guys whose value, I think of NBA 2K. Out of 5 stars, you're telling me, Bones Highland has like 3.5 stars because of his potential. He's worth 2 second-round picks. That was very head-scratching. I like the move for Thomas Bryant from the Lakers. He'll help them on the bench, but I can't get over the Bones Highland deal.
Yeah, that definitely a surprising move there. And did the Warriors end up getting rid of James Wiseman?
Yes, they did. He's on his way to the Detroit Pistons. Very interesting. And I think the Warriors are kicking themselves because they could have had LaMelo Ball in that draft, and they chose Wiseman, got rid of him for 5 first-round picks. All right, they turned those 5 second-round picks, excuse me, Tom. They turned those around to Gary Payton Jr., but guess what? Gary Payton, too, actually, was just on the Warriors, won a championship with them. He leaves, and now he's back for Wiseman, pretty much. So it's that move definitely confused me.
Yeah, and if you're the Warriors, you had just a golden opportunity there saying, okay, well, we had a really terrible season. Things did not work out for us here. This isn't going to happen that often in the Curry, Thompson, Draymond era. We could take advantage of this and really bring in another guy who can bolster that next era that's going to come after. Because let's face it, there's no spring chickens left on this Golden State Warriors team. The window might have closed with the championship last season. Still just hovering around 500 this year. It's definitely a tough look for this team right now as to what the cupboard is going to hold after these 3 are all gone. And Draymond could be gone at the end of this season, right?
I could see Draymond staying around on a very team-friendly deal or, however he'll be back just because his love for the Bay Area and playing with Steph and Clay. But the point about the window closing, I agree. I think it's closed, as you said, because look at how good teams in the West have gotten. I mean, last year's Warriors team facing, this Denver team, I'm not sure if they beat them. I think Jokic would eat them up inside, and their defense this year is just very suspect as a team. They just get eaten up, and they go shot for shot for shot for shot all game long. If Jordan Poole's not cooking off the bench, that bench squad is very shaky. And, of course, Steph not being healthy really hurts them.
Mm-hmm.
Clay's inconsistencies hurts them. So this team is just not the same.
It feels like they just hit that sweet spot last year where the new young guys coming up weren't quite ready to make that step to NBA champions, and the old guard also didn't really care quite as much anymore about going out to win a title, and they just managed to catch right in that sweet spot. But I do agree. I think that this might be the end of the road for what has been a very, very fun to watch Golden State Warriors team, Jason.
Yeah, they've been amazing to watch this last decade, basically. Absolutely fun. Question I have for you, though, is speaking of defense that we were talking about with teams like Denver and the Warriors, with the Kyrie deal to Dallas, I mean, he's going to bring offense there, but they still didn't really do anything to bolster their defense. I mean, here's a team that was a Game 7 last year in the conference finals, and you make a big splash to bring in a guy like Kyrie, but you didn't really help your defense out at all.
That's the NBA, my friend, the modern-day NBA. Like I said, they'll go shot for shot for shot, but, it might win them some games in the regular season, but come playoff time, like you said, no defense, no guys really looking to lock up, it's going to backfire. And also, no bench. I mean, their bench is pretty depleted. Dorian Finney-Smith, even though he only averaged, say, like 10 points, 6 rebounds, and limited minutes, is an extremely valuable piece that has left them. That's gonna, it's gonna show the Swiss cheese defense in Dallas right now, because you have Luka and Kyrie at the 1 and the 2. All right, that's great on offense, but on defense, they're pretty much traffic cones. I just want to be frank about it. I don't know how else to explain it. And then their bench, they need like a Nerlens Noel rim protector. And seriously, like a Carmelo Anthony type 12 points per game scorer off the bench. Even though Melo's, 38 years old, he's pretty much something they need right now off the bench. Yeah, he's not exactly bringing the defense either, but, you need guys who can fill in around him. But they need some scoring off that bench.
I mean, I'm always down for more Carmelo Anthony in the league if he wants to give it one more run.
Yeah, why not?
I think we all are, as are my Knicks. I think they should pull the trigger. They got like 3 open roster spots right now. I say why not?
Oh, that would be a fun one to bring back. Mikey, I know you're burning the midnight oil here over on the East Coast. I appreciate you staying with us. We got to head to a break. Would you mind sticking around, talking a little more NBA on the other side here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Thomas Viola, Jason Halpern, Mikey Domagala, official NBA buzz, breaking down the NBA trade deadline. Patrick Everson coming up in hour number 2 as we switch over to the Super Bowl. Don't go anywhere. Plenty more to come here on a wonderful Thursday evening on SportsX Radio. We are back here. Thomas Viola, Jason Halpern, and Mikey Domagala, official NBA buzz on the line, breaking down the NBA trade deadline, what this means for the rest of the season here. Mikey, I know you were talking about your Knicks a little bit. I mean, is this team ever going to figure it out and get right?
Well, does figure it out and get right mean winning a championship? Does that mean making the playoffs out of the first round? I mean, come on. To me, I would be absolutely amazed for them to win a first-round series this year. I really like the addition of Josh Hart. Cam Reddish was getting no burn off the bench at all. And, whatever you got to give up to get Josh Hart and a true defender, 15 points per game scorer, great chemistry with Jalen Brunson, his college teammate. I'm all for it. I love the move, and I'll just be happy with winning a first-round series.
Such a ringing indoor. That's peak New York sports fan at this point, because let's face it, we haven't, as a city, New York has not had much to cheer for over the past several years. The Brooklyn Nets, instantly when they got KD and Kyrie, they lost any and all goodwill from the years of putrid mediocrity, and it just became, oh, well, you bought a super team, and now we kind of want to see you not win. And then the Giants are the closest thing we have right now. you had the Yankees, which
You got the Rangers.
Yankees. Yeah, the Rangers.
The Rangers might actually be the closest.
I'll tell you, had a great night tonight?
Rangers.
The Jets. It was a jet sweep
tonight.
No.
The Rangers, I said.
I know, but the Jets had a good night tonight. Sauce Gardner, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Garrett Wilson, Offensive Rookie of the Year. If Breece Hall was healthy, he probably would have been the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And not one but two Hall of Famers. Darrelle Revis and Joe Klecko go into the Hall. Hang the banner now. I'm a Jets fan. This is the best it's going to get in the year 2023. It's not like it's going to be good from here on out. We'll talk more in the second hour, Jason, about potential landing spots of one Derek Carr and one Aaron Rodgers. The Jets on both of those lists, of course. But right now, still talking some NBA here. And what is going on right now? Milwaukee Bucks and Los Angeles Lakers. If we look at the Rich Abachi and Finley out-of-town scoreboard here, hey! The Bucks have taken the lead 73-71, 5 minutes to play in the third quarter right now. Jason, I got the worst of the number. I bet them at 4.5 in-game. You got plus 2.5, though.
I got plus 2.5 on that in-game there just after halftime.
And, Mikey, I will say, I think it was peak LeBron to break the scoring record on Tuesday. And then I
already know it's coming. You don't even have to continue
30
talking.
seconds left, down 6 to the Thunder, and who is on the bench? LeBron. That is peak late-stage LeBron James career. This man does not care about winning anymore.
I mean, listen, I like LeBron a lot, but should we go a step further? What about tonight? I mean, they give him a little ceremony pregame. He looks sharp as anything. So you already know that was all planned for him with the family on the court. Now, listen, I get it. Amazing record that'll probably maybe even stand forever based off his robot-like ability to, never look towards retirement. But, all right, like you said, he sat the last couple of minutes. They lost that game. Today, here they are, Milwaukee. They're in a close game. And it's typical LeBron, like you said.
Pour one out for all of the Laker fans and even just people that wanted to be there that paid buckets and buckets of cash to be at this game because everybody thought this was the game where he was going to break it. Those tickets were insane, and now you get there and he's not even playing.
Yes, I think the average ticket was like $800, and today the resale was $50. So those people, that's a tough one to swallow.
I would be so sick to my stomach right now if I paid those prices. And that's the big problem that the NBA is dealing with right now is the fact that you have fans. There was a viral story about a fan who traveled a really long way to see, I want to say it was Jimmy Butler. Traveled a long way to see Jimmy Butler, paid all that money for the tickets, and then Butler wasn't playing that night. That's a problem in the league. You don't see that anywhere else. Injuries are one thing, but the fact that just on any given night, the stars might not be playing. And
well, listen. Oh, I thought you finished there. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
It's a players' league.
Yeah.
As you saw with Kyrie, as you saw with Kevin Durant, and their decision to kind of move on, ask for trades, and kind of pick and choose where they want to go. That's one part of it. It's also a players' league to say, I'm not really feeling it tonight. I'm going to sit out, or, my thigh's a little sore. Let's just make it seem like it's a lot of sore. I actually believe that's really how it is in the NBA today. They know how to protect themselves. They know how to protect their money more than ever, and just pretty much protect their peace. So I think if any of those are checked off in the slightest, they'll miss a game.
I'm personally torn on it because on the one hand, absolutely, I don't want to see you get hurt. I don't want to see anybody get hurt because they were out there when maybe they shouldn't be. But on the other hand, it really is unfortunate for the league, and it's clearly a detriment to the fans and to the entire sport when you can pay all this money and it's a crapshoot as to whether or not you're going to actually be able to go and see the stars.
Yeah. I mean, imagine the taste in these fans' mouths when that happens to them. And then that paintbrush of the whole NBA is, spread around to their family and friends about how pissed off they are at the NBA or such player, So it's true. It definitely happens. I've known people who, they've said a similar story about, and yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, it really is. Jason, what do you think?
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that you take over half the league makes the playoffs. These guys don't really have anything to play for during the regular season. It's just kind of muddle through it, stay healthy, and then just turn it on in April and May when it starts to matter. And unfortunately, it's an unfortunate situation when you take so many teams to the playoffs. It truly is, because the fans lose out.
That's a great point. And actually, last week I had Raymond Felton, 14-year NBA veteran, on Inside Buzz with me. All fans can go check that out on YouTube and all platforms. A little plug there. But his point about the regular NBA season, he said he doesn't watch the regular NBA season until like 3/4 of the way through. He goes, why am I going to watch that? Everybody's not trying. Everybody's chucking threes. And real basketball and real defense, you start seeing, come playoff time when teams are actually fighting. Like you said, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe fans should kind of switch up the playbook a little and only go to games in like the second half of the season or right before the playoffs or the playoffs.
It's a microcosm of the game. The only competitive part of a basketball game is the last 2 minutes. The only competitive part of the season is the last couple of games and getting into the playoffs. Mikey, thank you so much for being with us here tonight. You were giving it a little bit of a plug, but please give the full plug. Where can people find you and all the great work you're doing?
I appreciate that. Follow NBA Buzz on all social platforms combined, pushing 3.3 million followers combined. You could subscribe to me, Mikey Domagala, on YouTube. I'm doing a lot of great new things. Like I said, Inside Buzz interviews on there, but also man on the street interviews. Last week I was in Brooklyn interviewing, Brooklynites about the Kyrie Irving trade. And then today, the KD trade to Phoenix. So check all that out on YouTube and NBA Buzz on all platforms.
Mikey Domagala here with us. Thank you so much. Mikey, 5 seconds. Who's winning the Super Bowl?
I got Kansas City. You can't fade Mahomes and Kelsey in the championship.
All right, Mikey, thank you so much for being with us. Patrick Everson coming up next here on SportsX Radio. Tom Viola, Jason Halprin. Catch us on the next hour.